Hi guys, it's Brandy and Chris again, your hosts from Couplesclick TV, and today we have yet another exciting segment. Last one was pretty darn good, our first time. That first time swinging experience happened to be with a single male. So today we're going to talk about the rule changing night and our first experience with a couple, which... Ooh, that really changed things for us.
It certainly did. Certainly did. I mean, our first experience with the single male was phenomenal, and Brandy decided after that she really was interested in exploring the lifestyle further and trying to hook up with another couple. Now, at that time, our rules were still the same.
Yes.
So in this case, we would find another couple. I would be able to interact physically with my wife, but not with the wife of the other couple.
Right.
And that was absolutely cool with me, and obviously it was that's what you were comfortable with at that time. So much like the single male, we found the couple online. They happened to be from North Carolina. Profile seemed amazing.
And that was one of the things about profiles that is so great, and why the online scene can work, is because when you have rules or know what you're specifically looking for, it's a more comfortable situation for everybody if when you email them with your interest that you can already see you're on the same page. This couple happened to be, she was bi-curious, which I didn't have any issue with. That was, I think, another one of those, well, it's different, maybe we'll try it.
Right.
But it also said that they were into soft swap at that point. I don't think they'd been in the lifestyle very long either.
Right.
And they were interested in same room sex, which made me feel very comfortable, because I didn't feel, at the time I was still worried about, somebody stealing you. Which, is natural, but that was my concern. And this couple met up, profile to profile. We seemed very compatible.
Right. And they offered to drive down to where we lived, and we made a plan to meet for dinner, which is always a great idea. Two things at this point: make sure you write good profiles and be honest. And second, upon meeting for the first time, it's a great idea, especially with another couple, to meet in a public place so that you can get to know each other, so that you can find out whether or not their photos were recent or from their college years.
Well, and it's also neutral territory. Nobody's in a dominant position. I mean, you both are coming to some place that nobody owns, and you, quite frankly, can equally leave at any time if something doesn't work out. And
also, just as a little tip, have a signal for each other. I mean, before we left the house, we had discussed this and said, look, if it's not right for you or not right for me, we need to have a signal to each other, something that we say, something that we do, that lets the other one know that we're not comfortable with the situation. It would be best to,
not continue to pursue it.
Yeah, not to continue to pursue it, at least in a physical sense.
Right.
And we won't divulge what our signals are.
Yeah, that's our secret. But dinner in this particular evening, again, all the nerves. I don't know about you being nervous. You're probably just pure excited. He's gets excited. You're just excited. It's all
guys are simple. We at least in my case, I guess I can't speak for all guys, but I was just, I'd come to a place where I was absolutely comfortable knowing two things. One, I was never going to leave my wife, and two, that my wife was never going to leave me for somebody else. And I had to trust and accept that fact. And once I did,
it's all fun.
Yeah, I mean...
And it really was. And this, the experience liberated me to feel the exact same way. So dinner went great. Dinner was smooth. Everything was clicking. Chemistry was really obvious, quite frankly, amongst all of us. And instead of sitting around and, what do we do? Luckily, there were dominant personalities that just said, this is going really well, let's go somewhere. And we did. And I remember we got back, and I was more nervous and felt like I'd had the least amount of experience.
And she was nervous.
She was, but somehow I felt like, okay, if I don't take control of the situation, we're never going to get naked. So I remember she and I going into the bedroom, which was very nerve-wracking for me, quite frankly, because I'd never been with a woman in any way.
That was your first time.
It was. But we were just gently kissing and making out, and it got very sexy. And
the husband and I were in the living room.
And it wasn't too long. I remember you guys were like, what the fuck? Are they going to come get us or what?
Should we turn on the football game or?
Well, needless to say, it wasn't but a few minutes later that we hear, guys,
right,
come on, join the party. And really, it was hot, it was intense, it was sexual. They were together. And it was just a lot of meshing of bodies. It was quite really.
And so you three were on the bed, and I was sitting next to the bed, you know, watching and just caressing your legs. And
it was so really powerful. I don't know. It was very intense. That all I remember is looking over at Chris and thinking, well, what are you waiting for? Get in here. And I remember I was.
You didn't just think that.
No, I said it. I said it just like that.
And my mouth hit the floor because I was not prepared. I really wasn't mentally prepared to.
I kind of changed the rules,
yeah,
you know, right in the middle, but it worked. I mean, I looked at her and I was like, "Are you cool with that?" Well, I looked at the husband first, respectfully, and I looked at her, and they were same place I was. It was so working out, just so great that we all wanted him in the party, and I couldn't believe how liberating it was for me and just downright sexy to be able to view the action from, you know, even from a few, you know, when you're making love or you're having sex with your mate, you're there. It's different. You're feeling it, you're a part of it, but to be able to see was it was a huge turn on. And quite frankly, I never had insecurities again. It was that night took care of it. We absolutely realized, fuck the rules. I mean, we tossed them out the window, quite frankly.
Right.
Our rules were real simple. Honesty and respect. And as long as we always abide by those two things, we can't break our rules. And so that night was our changing swinger event.
And it worked out really, really well. I mean, I'm not sure what all of you have experienced out there in your first times or second times. But we were very fortunate in that both experiences were fantastic. Now, they haven't all been, but those first two were fantastic.
We can talk about those later.
Yeah, we'll get into those later, but they really were great, and it helped us redefine what our rules were and what we wanted to get out of the quote-unquote lifestyle.
And that experience has really led into the whole path, which I think the lifestyle and swinging which is constant change and really evolving and growing together. And you know, as we change and ideas change and we meet new people that have new experiences, new doors open up. So that was definitely a biggie, and I'm sure we'll have many more interesting and exciting segments and things to talk about coming up. So stay tuned for the next one.
Absolutely.